Hello musicians, this is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. Thank y'all so much for checking out this video. Now we're about a week into the new year, 2019, and I wanted to give you two big ideas to think about, some incredible resources, and a special bonus at the end of this video, all with the idea of helping you become the musician of your dreams. So let's not waste any time. Let's get started. All right, the first big idea is to set your goals. What is your overarching theme, your goal for this year? And there are two questions you have to answer that'll help you figure that out. The first question is who you are musically, and the second one is who you want to be. So how do you determine who you are musically right now? Well, it's simply doing an honest assessment of where you are. So an easy way to determine who you are musically is to take your phone or recording device and record yourself playing a song for 1 or 2 minutes, right? And then go back and listen to yourself and write down what you're hearing. Describe what you're hearing, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? I remember I did this and I thought I was going to sound like Keith Jarrett, who was phenomenal. I think that one of the greatest jazz pianists ever. And I ended up sounding like Cyrus Chestnut, who's also a phenomenal player, but just not what I thought I was going to sound like. So do an honest assessment of where you are. Write down everything about your sound, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The second part to determining your goals is determining where you want to be musically. What do you want to sound like? So students ask me, Corey, how do you figure out your sound? How do I determine my sound? My response is always the same. Pursue those things that resonate with you. When you're listening to music, there are sounds that just really resonate with you deeply. And they'll cause you to turn your head, like, can you play that again? What was that? So pursue those things. I literally have a playlist called The Sound in my iTunes library, where I have musicians from every genre of music. Literally, I have Orlando Gibbons, who was a late Tudor, early Jacobean period around the 1600s, early 17th century, English composer who has some stuff that really resonates with me. Rachmaninoff is another one that resonates with me. But then there are jazz musicians like Keith Jarrett, Chick Corea, Alan Broadbent, Taylor Einstein, Gerald Clayton, that resonate with me. Or even gospel musicians like Mike Burrell, Corey Henry, Eric Miller, Glenn Gibson, Preston Stevens, just, the list goes on and on and on. And then it's my responsibility to figure out what is it about these musicians that resonates with me. So once we've determined where we are and where we want to be, we can set our goals really clearly, which leads us to the second part of the two big ideas I want to talk about, which was creating and crafting your practice time. This is really implementing the goal that you set. So the first thing you want to do is create time and space for your practice sessions. You want to create something that's realistic that you can actually stick to. So I know sometimes when I create my practice schedule, I'll have myself practicing for 8 hours a day, forgetting that I still have to eat, and I have other responsibilities I have to take care of. I have to go get my son from school, and these all cut into the practice time. So you want to make sure you're creating something that's realistic. Also, you want to keep yourself motivated. So you want something that'll help to keep you motivated. Now, I know for me, I'm motivated by competition. So something me and my buddies did was we actually created a practice contract that we all signed, and we had to practice a certain amount of time per week, had to journal it. And if we didn't, we had to pay a fine. And so that was really cool for me to keep me motivated. Matter of fact, I'll put a link to that practice contract so you can download that and just see what it looked like. Another thing we did was kept a practice journal, and I think that it's really important to organize in your practice time. So in your practice journal, you should keep the date, the time of your practice session, and before you start, write down what you want to accomplish. Then after you finish, write down what you actually accomplished, and then your thoughts on what you did. And what I can do is I can give you one of my practice journal, a sample from my practice journal with some instructions on how to do it. And then you give you some blank practice journals so you can do it on your own. It's an invaluable resource to organizing your practice time so you don't end up doodling and just noodling around. So now that we've organized our practice time, now we want to figure out what exactly we're going to practice. And so that takes us back to our first big idea, which was setting your goals. And so we had these goals that we wanted to accomplish, to develop our own sound and these things that resonated with us. So we want to take these big ideas, these big things that we hear at Guys Play, and really distill it down into these small components that we can practice daily and weekly and over the course of the year. So we only want to practice these minuscule ideas. So one thing I did, I sat down and wrote out every area of being a gospel pianist or a jazz pianist that I could think of. Every area that came to mind, I wrote it out and created this checklist of areas that we should, as jazz musicians, we should be familiar with, or as gospel musicians, we should be familiar with and have mastered. And so I'm gonna make those checklists available to you all for free as part of this package in the description box. And the last thing to remember is to practice the minimum. There's a host of topics in those checklists and probably on your own list of things you want to accomplish. But remember, practice the minimum. One of the differences between the amateur or hobbyist musician and the professional musician is the hobbyist or amateur musician just practices until they get something right. And the professional practices until they can't get it wrong, until it's impossible for them to miss it. And that's what we mean by mastery. So just practice this one idea, this one small idea, and get it masterfully done. And as you keep practicing each idea after idea, you'll find that you've learned quite a bit of material that you've mastered and have on your hands. All right, so to get these free resources, you just simply click on the link in the description box, and then it'll take you to my website, and just fill in your information. If you're new, then create your username and password and these things. If you're returning, just fill in your information, and then once you submit it, it'll be in your account. And so the way you access your account is simply go to skilledmusician.com/profile, or you just go to our homepage, skilledmusician.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, click your account. And you might already be logged in, but if you're not, just log in and you'll see your resources, these free resources, under your downloads. And it'll be called Be the Musician of Your Dreams. All right, so here's the special bonus. If you would like me to help you establish your musical goals for this year, I would love to help you. So what I've done is I've created some time slots between today and January 18th, where we can spend about 30 minutes walking you through a very specific plan for your growth. So I'm looking forward to helping you and working with you, and so hopefully you can take advantage of that. All right, so thank you again so much for checking out this video. Now remember to set your goals, determine who you are currently and who you want to be musically, and then craft your practice time. You create times that are realistic, keep your journal, and then work the small things, master the small things. And I believe if you do these, you'll become the musician of your dreams. So again, my name is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. So hopefully this video has helped you improve. So until the next one, be blessed and happy practicing.